Hi. Hi. Hello there. Hi. Yes. Quick little like snap of something else. I meant to push an overlay. My name is Chris Farah. Welcome to my channel. It's Monday afternoon. It's 2 o'clock, and we're going to get into last night's episode of 90 Day Fiancé Toe, honey. We're towing that season all the way from India to Turkey to Providencia. But yeah, the other way, my loves, it's season 3. It's episode 5. Can you believe it? I can't. That's where we are. That's where we are in life. Look at everyone in the room. What's happening, guys? So happy to see my loves. I was so sad that Chris wasn't on last night, but it ended up being better because I fell asleep quickly, happy as it turned into a Monday night happy hour live. Yay. You know what? As I watched the episode, it was really great. And I was like, I kind of do wish I went live to talk about it. It was a great episode. But I didn't. And obviously. And it was like eyelashes stuck in my orange lip gloss I'm trying to give you. God, 2 hairs there. It's not lip gloss. It's like this gel lip stain I got. So, black, orange, honey, we know what's happening. It's September 27th. It's nearing into the fall, autumn, harvest, October, Halloween season. I'm so excited. Energy shift, and sometimes it brings up some things, but we're all going to be here. So let's get in, shall we? It was a good episode, like I said. Who do we want to start with? I feel like I'm going to start just like as I go down. Oh, no, because some of the more boring couples happen at the end. Let's talk about Biniyam and Ariela. It's interesting because there's not an enormous amount of couples, so every episode you can kind of touch upon every couple, and they really just touched upon Binny and Ariela, which was they're going to go to a place that has holy water to baptize themselves from the Leandro situation. And their meaning is, honey, just holding that baby, holding that relationship together. What is holding that relationship together besides, I guess, ego? Also this reality show. But yeah, so it was just very, she questioned the water. It was confusing, didn't know what, and it was really pretty and a nice ceremony-esque situation that was somewhat being wasted on a couple that, won't be together in 2 seconds. So, but I feel like this episode in its totality really gave me some wanderlusting. Sometimes, listen, besides, God bless, all of the horror porn of what had happened because with Providencia because of the hurricane, besides that, and God bless, that footage was terrifying. A lot of the footage of like India and Turkey they're showing, and Ethiopia was footage that made me be like, I want to go. And let's be honest, 90 Day Fiancé has quite the reputation for showing like B footage of other countries and make you seem like them Americans, don't know what it's like in other places. They should be happy to be here. There's a part of that. So, Ari acting like she was sprayed with a damn fire hose. I don't know. She seems lost. She seems flaky. She seems undeserving of like a beautiful religious ceremony in that way. She doesn't seem to be like present or in the moment in spiritually or respectful enough to really like have it be doing anything for her soul. And, she seems really selfish as a person. And so does he. Everyone sort of seems, well, I don't know, they just all sort of seem selfish and also uninteresting. I don't find her interesting. He probably wanted to turn the hose on her when he's flirting with her ex. That's why I never wanted to film in Honduras. We don't need them adding that to our already bad rep. There's like, listen, with anything, you can film something and make it look great or make it look bad or make it look whatever it is in so many different ways. So it's really about the editing and what you're choosing to show and the context. So yeah, I wouldn't trust them either, and them being the producers. Okay, so I really have like nothing else to say about them. We can go on to Corey and Evelyn, which has still a boring couple, but I have more to say. So, sorry, I always get like I'm like sitting cross-legged. Evelyn opened the camp of news that her and Corey are married to her parents, and now that she has told her sisters. She has to open the camp of news. She says, it's a can of news. It's a can of worms, honey. It's the fact that they got married, and Evelyn comes from a traditional family with the best bitchy sisters I've seen on 90 Day in a very long time. I mean, like, I really love Pedro's sister. And that's like, but because I truly like couldn't care less about Corey and Evelyn, like I do like that bitchy Evelyn sister. It makes me happy. It also gives me these things like, oh, they all grew up together and they had to deal with Evelyn the whole time being like probably rebellious, older, kind of like promiscuous older sister that like got in trouble a lot and a lot of their parents, which is kind of like a mess. And I like the fact that the sisters are just like, no, I have no loyalty to you. I think you're kind of trashy and dumb. I just feel like that's her like general demeanor. So Evelyn has told the sisters, right, as I said, that she and Corey got married, and they come over to Evelyn's parents' house and now, I guess, tell the parents. And as they walk up to the sisters, they tell the sisters what they're doing there, and the sisters are like, okay. And then I'm just like laughing. They're like, so Evelyn walks in. She's like, are you coming in to the sisters? And then the sister's like, yeah, to see my mom's face. And she like tears up. They're like, older sister / you, her oldest daughter, my oldest sister, you. Such a mess. Now, here's the thing. She tells her parents, and she basically is like, Corey convinced me to do it. Like his visa was out, and so we had no other option. So he told me I had to do it, and I don't want to marry him. You know that. I kept saying how I didn't want to marry him, and so he made me. And they're like, what? But the mom knows that Evelyn's a liar and is used to being disappointed by Evelyn's actions. You can tell. The mom has been through it with Evelyn, The dad won't even talk anymore. I mean, he is just like, I don't know, honey, the whores that man's seen, but like having all those daughters, those like opinionated daughters. But Evelyn's dad has like honey, like he's seen a ghost, honey, can't talk. He won't ever talk again. The horrors he's seen. It took away his voice. He's like Ariel. And I guess in this way, Evelyn is Ursula. Corey convinced me, girl, nobody put a gun to your head. You're a grown woman. Yes, Corey's a whiny little bitch, but come on. Like, here's the thing about Corey. He is literally a whiny bitch because his voice is whiny and he is a bitch. It is high. Even when he's like talking to Raul, he's just like, the surfing waves were great. Party wave was so much fun. Anyway, so God bless. We'll get back to that. So the mom is like, after the confession is like, pero estás feliz? And Evelyn's like, no say. And Corey, who's lived in wherever they are, Peru? I'm sorry. Honey, Corey's like, what did your mom say? And I mean, you don't know what pero estás feliz means? And then no say? Pero estás feliz? No say. What did your mom say? What did your mom say? Here's the thing. There was a lot of Spanish this episode, right? Because we had obviously the conversations. Ecuador. I'm so sorry, you guys. You're just like, you really stink. And I get it. I said Peru. I really meant Ecuador. And I'm so sorry, Gabby specifically. Okay. A horrible, horrible person. And there's too many countries. I'm so sorry. There's a lot. And again, I'm American. So I have like already like a level of ignorance, of like being like, what else exists besides whatever's past my nose. So you should know basically some basic words after years of living in the country. I took some Spanish in grade school. Then when I went to high school, I took 3 years of Spanish, right? So 2 years, freshman and sophomore year. And then because your girl's smart, in some ways not smart, but because I'm really pretty good at like comprehension and English, and even though I can't talk in front of you, and literature and well, in this case, language, I got into honors, right? Okay, so besides that moment, and that was years ago, I haven't studied Spanish since. And definitely, Armando's parents speak differently than, I can't understand them. They have a softness about some of the enunciation of all of the like plosives and the ends of words that for someone who's not native, it's just like, oh God, I know what you were saying if there wasn't any, what's the word? Translation. And in this situation, Corey should not need a translation in any kind for "Pero estás feliz?" No say. That should be so loud. That should be so understood. He should be like, diga sí. Diga sí. Sí. Yo, estamos. No, sorry. Somos muy feliz y gracias por esta cuestión. But no. It's okay. I'm from Argentina. It's like all these countries mixed up. It's not on purpose. It's just too many characters in too many places. Yeah, that is true. I do feel bad. It is that. Plus, Pero estás feliz? No, say nothing complicated. Understand, Corey. He acting stupid. I know. He is acting stupid. Like, maybe he does know exactly what his mom, her mom said. I wish that the mom would literally just stare at Corey and be like, "Este hombre es," like, obviously the mom wouldn't speak Alina's like, I'm making a joke. Obviously the mom has better Spanish accent than I do, but like literally if Corey heard this, he still wouldn't know Spanish. "Esto hombre es la uno para ti." He'd be like, what? Es estúpido esto hombre. No está para ti. I don't know. Okay, I got to move on from this because it's like I'm pretending that I speak perfect Spanish, and obviously I don't. But also I've never lived in one of the Spanish-speaking countries. My love, my God, So, now the mom also is like, look, I'm very traditional. So the fact that you got married and I would not have done it means fine. You made your bed, you lay in it. You did open this camp of news to me and this camp of news worms. And you better stay married because I don't believe in divorce. So you can't get divorced. And Evelyn sitting here with her boyfriend talking to her family just gives me such like, yeah, I already had this already, but you were like a rebellious teen, honey. Like she really, whatever. So next scene is Corey and his BFF cutting up the waves, surfing. And Corey's a good surfer. I don't surf. And they had fun on that party wave. And I'm like, what is a party wave? It's like a party line. Does it mean like one wave, you're all on it? Like a menage a wave? 2 people, 1 wave? Okay, so Corey says that Raul's his best friend, even though he's had ups and downs with Raul. And he brings up this whole Jenny situation, which is like so manufactured, okay? This is a manufactured drama situation. So I don't want to bring like too much attention and specificity to like every detail of this conversation because I have better things to do than to be lied to by people who just want to be famous on television shows and keep up their like 15 minutes of fame. Okay, Libby's family. So like in this situation, basically like, He's like, look, I didn't tell Evelyn that, like, I boned Jenny over and over again when we were in a relationship. And not only that, and like when I never even broke up with Jenny, like I like just pretty much ghosted her. And this Raul person is like, well, I'll tell you what you have to do. You have to tell both these women, which of course is not what he has to do. Nothing he has to do ever. He already told Evelyn that he like whatever with Jenny, and she's hooked up with other people. You never wouldn't have to tell anyone anything about, like, listen, this is how I feel. There are certain secrets you just go to your grave with, especially if it's going to hurt someone's feelings, especially if it's like a situation like what Corey's in, which is that he's in a relationship with a woman who didn't even want to be with him in the first place and already cheated on him. This isn't like the mother of your kids that like you've been in high school together and like you better like always be super faithful and honest with each other because that's what that person's giving you. Like both of you are just kind of trashy. And so in this situation, don't tell her. But of course he's going to tell her. Why? Because he needs some sort of drama besides whatever's happening at their juice alcohol stand business for us to like talk about. Okay, God bless. So this Raul, who really is his best friend for giving him this storyline, is like, yeah, you go tell Jenny, who, why would you have to even talk to Jenny? He's already ghosted her. It was only a month-long relationship and he's not even with her anymore. So like, why would, okay. If I missed something here to truly tell me, it's crazy. Oh, people just walking in the room. I'm so excited. Hi, Penelope. Hi, Domestic Gordita. Hi, Allie. Okay, so Raul then is like, oh, by the way, if you don't tell Evelyn what you just told me, I'm going to tell her. And Corey's like, what? Corey's face is like, I didn't think about that. I mean, I'm just like, that is it. That's what's happening. Up and downs with Raul, Jenny versus breakup. Okay, tell Jenny and Evelyn. Okay, so that's all I have to say about them. Kenny and Armando. What a beautiful, but hard to watch. And I say beautiful because it's not 100% perfect, but it feels like a very real journey in progress of healing between a family. Okay. So as we know, because, why are you here? But Armando and Kenny are gay. Armando comes from Mexico, from very traditional family. And Kenny raised his children being a, American gay man. And Armando, again, was married. And I don't know why I'm giving you, like, you already know this, had a child, right? Okay. And then God bless. Armando's family have been on TV with cameras in their faces, going through like the acceptance process and understanding of Armando's sexuality. And it sometimes can be difficult to remind oneself that we are also looking through the lens and context and culture of a people not in American, like Western society or a super liberal society, a progressively liberal society. And so it must be very difficult for them. Like I think of this scene, both these scenes, to have like Armando's dad just like be working in his like garage, like there is a camera in his face and all these people like producers around. And he knows he's being filmed to watch his reaction of whether he loves and accepts his son's lifestyle and sexuality. It's actually like it makes the other drama fake and dumb. Like whatever is happening with Victor and whatever is happening in this situation, it's not the same as what's happening again with like Corey and Evelyn and Jenny and Raul. This is Mickey's saying what I guess I'm trying to say. I think the father and mother did well considering the culture to expect perfection is unfair to the parents. Yes. Okay, so he has a scene with his mom, basically, first, where he's like, I was really happy to see that dad like was there, and he, hugged me and he accepted, and he hugged Kenny, and his mom was like, yes, yes, yes. And he's like, Mom, did you tell dad that I'm getting married or I'm engaged? And she's like, no. Basically, she's like, no. And I want to be like, Armando, you didn't. You were supposed, wasn't that like you could have? You talking about your mom didn't. Like, I don't understand who's supposed to be telling him. Armando wants mommy to do it. I think it's actually important, which he does in the next scene, for him to do it because he's an adult. He's un persona mayor. Is what his dad called him. You're an adult now. So so Armando's like, yeah, we're getting married, and it's gonna be a big ass wedding, and I want you to be there. And I know that last time I told you I was engaged in front of all of aunts, you were taken aback. And she's like, yeah, like it seemed pretty rushed. He's like, well, it's been like a year now and you're on a television show, so like we can all kind of get on board now. It's been a year, so I'm going to come back and visit this. He's right. So then he goes and talks to his dad, right? And that's the conversation I'm talking about. And he's like, Dad, can you sit down? And Dad's like, yeah, I'm just organizing things and trying to get things settled here, trying to like give things an order, so it's not that it's not talking. I like, honestly, it's just the conversation and the invasiveness of having cameras and a production crew that I am like mostly taken aback that this man's okay with. But he is. So, of course, Armando says, I want to talk to you man to man. Can we sit down? It's been a year. I'm going to get married. The dad's like, I can see the ring and I've heard conversations, but I also haven't heard them because I don't pay attention to them. Now, this is where it gets a little murky with both his parents, right? You can tell that it's both his parents. They won't admit it. You can tell that they wish things were different. And that is a crux that's really hard because I want them to let go of thinking what that or what could have been because it wasn't real, or a sadness of a death of something, right? He says it in so many ways. I want you guys to be happy for them. I want you to be happy. It's not even like, well, I accept this. I want you to be like, Kenny's great. He loves your daughter so much. And, but it's incredibly difficult, incredibly hard. And so, do you hear that? It's a doorbell. It is a doorbell. Who? I don't know. Can I get it? No, I'm live. So I cannot. I wonder who it is. If it's a realtor trying to give me their business card, honey, we don't need it. By the way, I just got that doorbell rang. Isn't that nice? Isn't that the most ding-dongy doorbell? It's like that. It feels like that's one of the staple doorbell sounds, right? I didn't watch Family Karma. Yeah, you could get it. Just side note is, Mickey, side note is anyone who's been with me for a long time, who's watched me do lives in my apartment. There's been that was one time that I did a live in my apartment and someone knocked on the door and people were like, don't get it, because I know who it was and I got it. And people are like, you shouldn't have done it. You could have gotten killed. That's so funny. Remember when you open doors without looking through the peephole at night? That's yes, Mickey. Also, Meghan Markle has that doorbell. Ellie. I love you, Ellie. That's funny. Okay, so okay, moving on. It's Jenny and Sumit. So I took all of the great, like I took this great picture of two things and I could not upload to this stream. Makes me really, really sad. But one of the first opening shots of India was, and you guys that watch this, was this bread. It's like a flatbread, and it looked like they slathered it with butter. And going back to earlier part of this live, and I was like, there's a lot of shots of the countries, and I was kind of like, oh, wonder the last thing about going to them is because of the bread and butter shot, honey. I gotta lose some weight. It's a Peloton. I mean, I gotta lose some weight. I just keep eating. But yeah, look at that Indian bread and butter, and I was like, bleh. I probably was not butter, but really, it's so funny because how simple those things are and how yummy they are. I like bread and butter. I like toast and jam. You know, I really like bread and butter. Okay, so thumbs it up. Oh yeah. If you haven't yet, please like this video. I forget to ask, and then it's really important. Then I upload a video live where like a bunch of people were in the room and like no one liked it, and so it has like no likes. And then YouTube is like, oh, what a horrible live this person did that everyone hated. Oh, we'll never show her any sort of like recommendation or suggestion. She doesn't put out quality content. And everyone tells her, you know. So that's what YouTube tells me in my mind if people don't engage. So please like. Okay. Very much a British supper, bread and butter and tea. I was really always, I think I've talked about this before, that I have a somewhat fascination with the plowman's lunch. Anyway. Okay, so Jenny and Sumit are having one of their talks, you know, their talks where Jenny's over it. And Sumit is like, I talk about this, but like, there's just a lot of these kind of talks in this season where I'm sure to happen in other seasons where Sumit looks like he is a kebab getting fried on the grill until he finally gets a cup of like, I'll change it somehow, and then pours it on himself until he gets like back on the grill again. In this situation, they're talking about, they would go bead shopping, right? And Jenny's like buying the beads from the Hare Krishna thing because it was really great for her to like say, you know, the bead stuff. And she felt really, really like, you know, she felt like it lessened her anxiety. It also like took up her time because she has basically nothing to do in India, honey. She has no friends. She won't know. She has literally, she does some laundry. She makes the bed. Okay. So then Sumit's like, yeah. And she's like, also, it's like, you know, kind of like expels negative energy. You know, he's like, yeah. She's like, remember like kind of the negative energy I got when we saw your parents and like, they hate me. He's like, uh-huh. And, he's like, they talk about the fact with, you know, Sumit's parents basically in front of Jenny were like, do not marry that woman. We hate that woman. She is an old woman that won't ever give you any kids. We don't want this one right here, the one we're pointing at that's looking at us. Do not be with her. But like in their like Indian language, right? And so she can't get it, but she can understand it because they're like, could you imagine just like, you know, whatever. So, but the weird thing is like, can you imagine having sat through that and then still be like, why don't they invite me to places? I don't even know what's crazier. So she's basically like, yeah, they don't, you know, like they don't, your parents and your family won't let me go to any of your family functions. And it's like, why would you want to go? They hate you and you know it. Jenny, you know it. You know they hate you. Why would you go? I just like, that is like something where if I was in a situation where someone was like to me, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'll never, I mean, no, you're not for me. Obviously, we're not aligned, honey. We're not supposed to be in the same. Yep. You don't want anything to do with me. And guess what? I tap out of wanting anything to do with you. That's it. I mean, you know, like, Okay, I'll talk about this in a second. I need Chris to give her feedback of the clip of Sumit's hair straightened. I mean, he looked like he had clip-in bangs. I don't understand quite like Sumit's hair. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't know it. He really makes a lot of interesting choices. But oh, here she is, honey. Submit has been lying from the get-go. It should be no surprise. Red flags from the get-go. Deirdre. I don't understand why they don't make a life in America. I just don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it's like obviously I don't now I'm like, okay, is it that Sumit thinks his family's going to change, or that he thinks that he can just string Jenny along, or is he waiting for one of them to give so that he doesn't have to make a decision? It's so strange. It looked worse than Zayed's straightened hair. They're living on Jenny's money. Okay, so let me go back to this. So he's like, when he's talking to Jenny, he's like, if my family said anything to me, it's okay, but not to you. And it's like, no, Sumit, actually, like your family, well, of course they can say anything to you, honey, and they can say anything to Jenny, and you'll be okay with any of it, like, and obviously you're okay if they say anything to you. Like, all you do is, like, allow them to dictate your whole life. But we find out, right, that his sister-in-law, Cherie, is pregnant. And, as we've set it up, that Jenny cannot be a part of any of the family celebrations for this brand new baby, for his parents' first new grandchild, from his younger brother, who's having a baby with his wife, who is Indian and young and fertile. So a lot of things, I also love what Cherie's wearing for the celebration, which is like this pink thing. You're like, oh, you're having a baby girl? Like, is this your way of telling us it's a baby girl? Like, everyone's going crazy. Not everyone, but I love the idea of like people trying to guess babies' genders based upon what mothers are wearing. I don't know. Right. So Sumit's going to go. And he comes in, he's like, Jenny, like, what are you up to? And she's like, cleaning and laundry because I have no friends, and like, your family hates me, and I have nothing else to do here besides like literally pray these beads over and over again. I just bought these beads. Devotee beads. He's like, cool, okay, I'll see you later, bye. Sumit comes into his family celebration, and, they're like, you reduced weight. I wish someone could say it to me, but that's not going to be the case. Anyway, the family is there, and they're all very upset of Sumit. So none of them are on Sumit's side. Dad, mom, brother, sister-in-law, even that new baby that's inside Cherie, honey. None of them like Sumit. None of them want Jenny around, okay? I'm sorry. I make myself laugh. So Sumit is like, I'm getting married. We're engaged. So she is a member of the family. And the mom, honey, gets up, cannot deal, just walks out. Okay. And his brother's like, no. And basically you're like, Jenny, we accept as a friend of yours, but never as a family member. And the producers made really, really sure to try and give as much context as possible as in this moment as to why Sumit's parents will not accept Jenny, which is some version of this. It's a community-based culture, the family and the community over the individual. So I think that's one paramount understanding of an Eastern culture. Well, not just Eastern, I shouldn't say. There's, because I think Mexican cultures and like Latin cultures are like this too. Latinx cultures, Mediterranean or Eastern. I mean, there's a lot of cultures that are like this. So I don't even want to give it like a certain directional title, but a culture that values the family unit and the protection the family and or the community unit provides for one individual. And if that sacrifice is, and so sorry, what you sacrifice is sort of a freedom to live any way you want without repercussions, because the repercussions and consequences play differently if you need other people around you, their opinion of you to matter or their acceptance of you, right? Like in America, if your family doesn't accept you, it's quite easier on a theoretical level and a practical level, although it's not easy, and I don't wish this on anyone, to be like, all right, my decision is my decision, and if you aren't on board, I'll cut you out of my life, and I'll move on with my friends, and I'll create a chosen family, or like you can do things. And there are obviously cultures that aren't like that. So Sumit's parents are like, we've gotten a lot of phone calls from people, and everyone is embarrassed and shamed by Sumit's choice to be with Jenny. And Sumit doesn't pay our bills. So if we ever got in any sort of problem or if we needed anyone, what we're telling you, the audience, is that we would lose everything. Like our credit, our family name, our standing in society, the way we're viewed, the respect level, we would lose it all. And on top of that, we don't want him to date Jenny. She's not great. No, she's an old, this is what they're saying. She's an old American and infertile, poor-ass woman. Why would we want her? We don't see the benefit at all for you to be with this woman and shame our name and bring our whole family down. So no. Also, Sumit, like, obviously you haven't done anything in your life to garner enough respect for your name alone that we respect you nor our neighbors. Meaning this, if Sumit was an incredible and upstanding member of society, to that society, who's maybe given back a lot, who's maybe helped a lot, who's maybe gained recognition for his work, talent, skills in some way, maybe there'd be more of a lax. But I bet you, understanding the temperament of the person that we've met for the years that we've known this person, that he's kind of like a little Peter Pan, or like a failure to launch who's lived with his parents this whole time, who can't really like get his life together, doesn't really know what he's want, and can't really go after what he wants. We don't know what he really wants. It's very hard for him to go after it. So I don't think that he probably has contributed to society enough in such a way that he has ascertained a respect level amongst his family peers for him to go out and make decisions and them to think they're good. You know what I'm saying? I would let him go to family functions or just aim for a half hour as a couple together. But they would. It's interesting because they say, we will accept Jenny as a friend of yours, just not as a family member. There must be family member only functions, and some that, like, she can come if it's like a big ass thing and you guys sit in a corner, Sumit definitely doesn't know what he wants. Yeah. And Jenny is in La La Land too, honey. She resents the way things are, like it is a surprise. I know. Yeah. Listen, something's got to give, right? It certainly seems like this is the season where, and you can say this about a bunch, but something's got to give. Jenny seems over it. And Sumit telling his parents that he's engaged seems promising. If they don't get to America, this cannot last. Even if they get to America, he would have to get a job and really showcase the fact that he is going to work hard. And I don't think that's going to happen either. So when I said the only way for it to work is if they get to America, it isn't like I think they're going to get to America and then for it to work, but it's definitely not going to work for them in India because she has no support and they don't have any support. That's the thing. It showcased when his family says that, it's like, oh yeah, so if you guys aren't going to have any support, like none of his friends support you. I mean, at all. There are no scenes of Jenny and one of the female friends of Sumit's friends that like them enough to show her around or make her feel good. I mean, she doesn't even have a Mimi. She has no one. Mimi is like Ari's, nurse. He doesn't seem industrious to me, sure. Jenny's immortal. I just don't know what's I don't know what's gonna happen for sure, but that is crazy. So I like the bro. Two things. The bro was very interesting this season, or this episode. He said that he's shocked that Sumit's engaged. Really? Part of that is like, oh, you're shocked that your brother has like already moved out of his parents' house, embarrassed your whole family, been on television about this woman, and you're shocked after years that he's engaged to her? You think that he was just going to so what was the brother thinking? Did the brother think that Sumit was just effing up the family name just to literally screw Jenny? But he wasn't going to ever marry her or going to commit to her? How strong does Sumit's brother think Jenny's P game is? It probably is an improper question to ask. I guess it was just like, he's like, I'm shocked to find out that they're engaged. Oh, why? You know that he was not going to ever get engaged to her. What did you think? That he was just going to go back to the prearranged marriage after like blowing everything up and on TV for years? And then the brother says, I don't want this drama on my baby. I get it. Jenny later on is like, your family doesn't care about your happiness. They only care about hers. And it's like, no, Jenny, none of them like you. You don't get it. It's not just the mom. None of them like you. Not even Cherie. Even though she seemed nice to you, she doesn't want you there. They don't like you. They're just they don't want you there. Again, she took his V card. Raw dog. So smart. Long term, Jenny needs to think about being elderly in India. Yeah, by herself. By herself. Yeah, girl, like you're not going to be being able to hang out with like Sumit's like grandma. Like knitting together as like the family cooks meals for you. Like at some point, they don't like you. I feel really bad. You didn't pick a family that like has welcomed you in that way. And just like maybe you can think you can like bully Sumit into submitting and marrying you. And I don't want to say the word bully, like it's a weird situation because it's like what it certainly seems like she is sometimes like trying to like put her foot down or bully or give him an ultimatum. And it's not like a situation, he could obviously leave and say no, but because he is incredibly weak, he won't. His parents and his mom doesn't seem as weak as he is though. So. And they don't want that drama on their baby. All right, my babes. How many more? I have 2 more left. Victor and Ellie. So my fault, let me just say, my fault, is that in the last live, I just did not, first of all, I said I didn't understand why Ellie was buying those tour shirts, right? I can't talk. I didn't understand that. And it's my fault because they obviously said they were buying the shirts for his sister or for the people on the island. And I don't know where I was and I didn't hear it. So my fault. But they're bringing those shirts, honey, to Providencia. And Ellie's going to see the island. It's very heartbreaking. Providencia! So Victor says a very interesting thing. She is going to be a part of this island, so she needs to see how it is. And Ellie, this whole time, is kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to live here. There's no infrastructure. There's no hospitals. Like, there's no electricity. And I wonder what kind of resources will be expected of Ellie. For this rebuilding. And I wonder how, in the face of this huge shift and tragedy, you could possibly start a relationship. But I will tell you that the nature of them together has been different feeling than what I thought they were going to be. I really like Ellie and Victor together. I love when he gets her off the boat. He's like, Miss, let me get you a hand. He seems like an incredibly, in this moment, lovely person who obviously has a lot of trauma that he's dealt with, as well as he's going above and beyond that to make sure everything is okay in his family, for his family, his sisters and his mom. So they get a car, they get all their supplies, they're driving it around. Ellie's there. She's taking pictures of all of the devastation of the town and the island, and everything is in disarray. It looks crazy. I kind of wish, sometimes she's taking so many pictures and I'm like, oh God, this is intense. She says there's a smell of gas, sewage, and garbage everywhere, that it, again, it has an apocalyptic feeling. And at the same time, she also tells Victor that we're in this together. It's a lot to take on. I can't even imagine all of it. Like how you go from your life to this, and not this being like, well, I guess this being an apocalyptic, devastated island, and then having to rebuild the island, your home, keep your relationship, and also rebuild your life now in this new location. I mean, like, it's giving me anxiety when I think about it. He's smooth, but he seems to love her. Yes. I think Victor is a player. I hadn't considered that he's not. Wow. God, it's hard. So their house has minimal damage, and their house looks really, really cute. Like these like beautiful blue home, and he put together like, in preparation for them to come live together before the storm. There's hanging mobiles, or what do you call those? Like there's hanging planters and a lot of beautiful white wood. It's right by his mom and his uncles, right in front of the ocean. He's incredibly thankful that Ellie's there. And so is his family. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to dance around is how much I hope to God, I hope that Ellie and Victor are incredibly genuine and authentic in their love together. And I hope that they are able to build a life out of this devastation. And what I don't want, or my fear, is for anyone to take advantage of Ellie and her money, and for her to have guilt or resentment because of it. Guilt because of the fact that how could she not dispense her money to incredibly needy individuals that have gone through such traumatic and damage to their homes and livelihoods. But also, how much can she give while still having some sort of security blanket for herself if she needs to immediately go back to LA, I'm sorry, go back to America because things don't work. Okay, that's my fear. And I think as I watched this, I think that fear was like a part of Hiromi, her friend, like in my heart. I feel like this fear that I'm saying to you as it came in my mind, it was like being said to me through the voice and face of Hiromi. Who wouldn't be thankful for her money? Her money would be very handy. They have, and I don't know what to say. We'll see what happens. It's a hard thing to say. I want everyone to be able to rebuild their homes, and I want there to be, like safe structures, and I want people to have gone through the trauma of that hurricane to obviously rebuild. So it's not like I'm not saying that. It's like because we've known the story of Ellie, right? Which is that she gave up the whole pizza place, honey, to move into the thing, right? Right, the Victor, and he cheated on her, right? So I'm like watching her watch all this, and I'm like, okay, yes, and you are going to help these people. Obviously, you already have a little bit with the shirts, but like obviously there could be a lot more. And it's not just money that Ellie can give, like resources. I think there also is a lot more that you can give: time, energy, contacts, feet on the ground, whatever it is, So it was interesting though in the previews for the next episode when Hiromi's like, okay, cool, like it's there. Yeah, I've seen the pictures. It's really devastating. By the way, do you remember that time when he cheated on you? And she's like, no, I almost forgot it. Oh. Oh, sorry, my love. You know what's one of those things, ha ha ha, is that I thought I was charging my computer this whole time. And because I, plugged it in right when I sat down, but I realized I wasn't charging it. And that whole time it was just plugged into like a nothing. And so as I'm about to die, I'm like, why? Why am I about to die? And it's because of that. Okay, so one more couple. Can you believe it? Only 51 minutes into this show. I mean, it's only an hour and 20-minute show in its entirety, the 90-day tote. But don't worry, my recap will be 59 minutes. It'll be longer. Alina and Steven, because I love the best couple for last. Honey, remember that Steven with a V had jumped in that pool, honey, and it's already dry because it's hot where they're walking around. He's like, this is where we live. Can't believe it. It's like, that's not where you live, honey. You're visiting it, but okay. Now he's wearing a crystal gamlet necklace that you'd buy from one of those Ren fairs. I have such a fascination with Ren fairs. I love the idea. I love the idea of people that work there. I love the weird. I think about like what they do on their off time. Those Ren fair nerds that work there, honey, and those corsets and everything like that with all them. There's like some wild nights drinking that mulled wine or whatever they do. Okay, so after the spontaneous jump into the water, the producers are really telling. I think like there's producers are telling Steven to do like crazy ass things, and Steven's like, okay. So to go find out what they have to do, he decides to hitchhike with Alina. He says it's a cheap mode of transportation. Transportation. You know what also is a cheap form of transportation? A tram. But he hitchhikes. And his version of hitchhiking is to it's not just to this. It's not just to this. There's a point at me. It's a point at you. You're in a car. We're not in a car. Will you stop your car? Stop driving your car and come pick us up so we could get in your car. Thumbs up. And we can go in your car down the road. Please stop and give us a ride in your car. I mean, like, it's like Alina watches all of it. I mean, if I saw him doing that, I would never stop my car. I'd be like, and here's the thing, not only would I never pick up anyone doing what he's doing, which is, I don't like some sort of like interpretive modern hitchhiking dance, honey. I have to think that anyone that would stop for that only has murder on the brain. Who'd stop for that? Who's like, oh, hi. No, I was just sitting here in my mask driving in COVID on my way to work. I'm not in a rush or anything. Podcast is done. Why don't I pick up you two? Let you just tell me where to take you. No maskless people. Okay. Okay. So they go to this, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They go to this doctor. They go to this, I'm so sorry. Is he a lawyer? I don't know who he is. There's some person that has this meeting with them. A lawyer, I guess, right? And some sort of like bureaucratic official that tells people like all the steps necessary to do the thing. So he starts telling them the steps to do what he wants, honey. And Steven with the V is like, oh, can you just like email it to me though? Or should I be taking a notes? And that guy is like, yeah, I'll just email it to you. In my mind, I'd be like, no, just write it down. Yeah, no, write it. You be writing it down, I guess, if you want to know. Does that man get paid per email? Is this man getting paid? Maybe this man's getting paid. Maybe an email follow-up was already part of the package plan. I mean, the way that Steven assumes that he can get into a car, it's fine. That he can just move to a country, get married, it's cool. There won't be any problems. I wrote this down. He is Captain Assume the Best and everything works out easily. Always. I mean, a bunch of things to say, right? As a female, I would never hitchhike. I would never get in a car of a stranger. Not ever. Not ever. I mean, unless he's a tow truck driver, I have to. But even, I mean, no. No. Are you insane? But this man can, right? This man's like, oh, there's steps. You have to, whoa. No, Steven is like, okay, let me tell the story in order. So basically, this bureaucratic individual is like, there's a lot of things you have to do, a lot of things. So you start it now because you have a lot of things to do, right? There's this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. But you haven't even done this. The first this. And the first this is to be like, we're going to get married. And Alina has already been like, we're going to get married, right? Because that's why she moved for a month to Turkey. But then Steven's like, oh no, me moving to Turkey was just to prove to you that I'm ready for a long-term relation, or I'm, committed or ready for a long-term committed relationship. Oh, seems diff. So you were just going to be in a relationship this whole time with her, staying in this hostel for this month until you... okay. The other shocking thing of like all of this is that Alina, having watched him jump in the pool, honey, having watched him hitchhike, honey, after like all of this is like, no, I want to get married. No, I'm 100% new. Let's do it. Let's right now. Yes, we're getting married. So having said this now, let's move on to that. I don't even know what's crazier. Steven's level of immaturity is dangerous. It is. I don't know what my panic inducing. Veronica, that's how I would say his level of immaturity or the assumptions that he makes in his life gives me panic, which I mean, now here's the thing. That's not, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. The world is his oyster. Mm-hmm, Paige. Yes, Paige. It's interesting. Why do I have such a visceral reaction where I'm like, yeah, well, it gives me panic. Like I have a sensitivity, like I am somehow affected by what could happen for him. And he doesn't even care what could happen to him. He does not care. I rode with a tow truck driver and was scared the entire time, but he was cool and professional. Veronique, I almost said this. I was like, with a tow truck driver, sometimes I'm like, can I just go sit in my car? The one that you're towing, I will ride with my whole car up like this if I need to, or the other way, I think it's, Mickey, I think it's the white male. It's just that there's just the white male is the safest. How do I say it? I don't want you to think that I'm saying he's the safest for you guys. The white male leads a life that feels the safest for that person to exist. There's going to be less domestic abuse against him. Cops will probably less likely kill him. Like on so many sides of like the white male. It seems, I don't mean to listen. I don't mean to just constantly use words that get so overused in the vocabulary of what's happening on a social media level. But this is a really prime example. When he gets into this hitchhiking thing, it's just, this is a very young, white, European-esque Caucasian man, and him getting into a stranger's cars feels safe for him to do in a way I wouldn't. And I look white. So that, is like that thing. But I'm a female. I'm, 11, I'm whatever. I wouldn't want any female to get in that car, I would definitely wouldn't want a person of color to get in that car. And I don't know, I would love if there's a Black man or a person of color man in this chat or that watches this video later. Have you hitchhiked? Would you hitchhike? Would you hitchhike in certain situations, in certain countries? Would you go into a country like Turkey and hitchhike? Willy-nilly. And watching that, how does that, I just know for me that I would never. I couldn't. It would be a probability of me being unsafe that I know intrinsically as a survival skill as the adult person I'm walking around, this persona mayor, in the world. I will say this. I think it's more than that. He was living in the Mormon community. He was still living at home. A lot of factors. Yes, Mickey. I also want to say there are also leveled on top of all what I've already said is also a perception of just sheltered ignorance because of a belief system and insular community that perhaps doesn't quite give a accurate, display of the many different things that could happen to someone in this world. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. Yes. Oh, yeah, yes. Yes. Okay, so all of it, we are all, yeah. I think that we were all of us were about, we just what? Wow. And Alina knows it too. She's like, it seems crazy. I would never do it, and yeah, she's right. She wouldn't do it. I don't have to tell you. Alina seems like a more rational adult than him. And so this whole time I'm like, Alina, when are you over it, honey? What is it taking in you? Why are you not over it? So she wants to get married ASAP. Now they're in a taxi. He's not hitchhiking, but this is after their meeting, and they're wearing the masks in the taxi, which makes sense. But in this one, it's funny because watching them talk in this taxi just sort of also feels like we're just getting voiceover by voiceover actors because I can't see them move, right? So all I'm seeing is wait, you don't want to get married yet? No, I didn't think that you want to get married right away. No, I totally thought that I'm not happy. You can actually see my mouth moving because I'm not even doing this right. But you're just oh, is it voiceover actors? Did I make that right? Probably not. I don't think that joke worked the way I wanted it to. So then she's like, yeah, I'm upset. Like, I want to get married now. I don't understand why you're not like, let's get the ball rolling. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let's cuddle. And she's like, no. And he's like, no, you're not cuddly right now. And she's like, no, I'm not going to be cuddly. Like, he wants his scoodle without his poop. Scoodly poop. Then she brings up Masha. To this point, I forgot about Masha completely. I forgot about this whole hair braid scheme. But I was happy that I got reminded, which is she's like, what did he expect? To stay in this hostel, maybe hook up with other girls while I'm staying here in this month by myself in this apartment in Turkey. And he's been dating other women and he's not really into it. And he just cares about scootily pooping everyone. And what am I going to do? Oh, yeah, the Masha thing. So I'm going to test him, honey. And it's this Masha who's going to like come and send him a flirty message and really like let me know what's up. I'm excited. No, I'm excited. I want it to happen. I like Masha. I feel bad because it does. I mean, what a character that they have really painted for us in Steven. And so I'm on board with it. Yay! Gabby, that's mean to say. So I was really, Gabby? What does that mean? That I was a theater kid? No, I don't think so, honey. No. Hi. But I will go back to this, Gabby, because maybe he was a theater kid in the sense that, like, I said that Ren Fair thing, and Ren Fair nerds and theater kids go hand in hand. Ren Fair nerds, theater kids. You know, if you're in, I'll just say this. This is a real inside thing. You know, I was a theater arts major. I went to like a Jesuit Catholic college. Welcome to my life in LA. And in LA, there's a couple of like theater arts programs for the LA colleges, right? Like, you know, I know people that went to USC or people that went to UCLA. Another big one's called is Cal Arts. For years, if someone told me they went to Cal Arts as a theater kids, like I would just be like, oh, you went to a lot of orgies and you know, like it's a little like a stereotype. There's a lot of orgies he went to, which is the same stereotype I think of like Ren Fair nerds. Yeah, you little freaky little sex nerds. You know, you just guys dress up and you like bone each other, don't you? In like British accents or whatever it is, like. The king will release his, you know, like that, like kind of stuff. His Joker. I don't know. Not his Joker. You know, I listen, I wasn't a Ren Fair nerd, unfortunately. Huge theater arts nerd, as you guys know, as I like basically cried 2 followings ago when I played the Steven Spielberg new West Side Story trailer. At least Midwest Mormon kids act like that. Here's the thing, Gabby, you could be right. It's just that, do I want him to be a theater kid? No, I just told you I am. I don't want him to be. Oh, Valerie Rose Photography. How beautiful. Thank you. Girl, get that editing. So actually, I'm going to say, Steven reminds me of this kid that had a crush on me freshman year of college, hair, mannerisms, naivete, etc. Like, etc. Did you, there's just, Steven is such a character, right? Like, the way he says turkey gets me. Turkey. He does this thing sound-wise that is like, it takes me out. The way he says turkey is almost too much. And I almost like the way I did it right now is a little over the top, but I just had to like really hit for you what's kind of happening every time he says it in my mind. The other part of Steven is that like, yeah, he's not 100% into Alina. He doesn't know yet if he can do better. He's open to it. And in this next episode, like, she's like, you know, did you kiss other girls? And he's like, yeah, I scoodled. I scoodle peed. I didn't scoodle poop, but I did scoodle pee. Oh, God. I'm so mad. So, also, side note is, in this taxi ride during this conversation, at the end of it, he's just like, "You want me to get you a watermelon?" I want like a watermelon right now. And we know he wants a watermelon, honey. He's been hot. He jumped in that pool. He's been hot. Stephen has been telling us how he needs to be refreshed. You want a watermelon? I mean, even then, Alina sat there the whole day hearing about how, he hitchhikes, and if it gets scary, he'll know and just jump out the car. And she's like, okay, I want to marry you. And so to this end, who is at fault? I don't know. Yes, I did. I went to LMU. He's into a lot of things. I mean, maybe. He's going to screw it up. I can't wait till he takes the bait with her good-looking friend. Yeah. Okay, so what do we think? Mickey has her money, honey, on taking the bait. He's going to munch on some Masha. No, gross. But he's going to he would mosh it up. Mosh pit. You think so? I think he is, and I think he's going to take the bait in some way, but I think that he's going to be like, no, I don't think that she was flirting with me. I think he's going to engage in a conversation with her where he's going to be like, oh, I just was going to ask, remember, if you remember correctly, Masha, and I don't know exactly how she's going to do it. Masha was like, I'm going to just Facebook message him. His main picture, I want to be like, is him at some place, and be like, oh, what was it like being at that place? I want to go to that place. And then that's like my in for the conversation. So I sort of feel like that's going to happen, but that if he is confronted, he's like, oh yeah, no, I just was like answering her. I just thought was being nice. She was being nice. That's why I put the heart emoji. I thought like, thank you. Loved talking to you, but I'll never talk to you again. I'm going to, I think that it's going to be like some sort of awkward situation like that, because he does seem very horny. I mean, those hormones seem like they are pumping the adrenaline through him to make him dumbly spontaneous. Every time, I mean, I think all of the jumping in the pool and the hitchhiking is really like, I mean, that's that brain doing the thinking a little bit. Like and by that brain, maybe like more just hormones. Hi, Anna. Eastern Europe is a very popular destination for these desperate men. Oh, yeah. He'll backpedal, but if you're committed, you are open with your existing relationships, you don't pick up new ones. Yeah, I mean, I think that he is going to fall for it, and God, I hope. I guess so. Will it be that moment that Alina's like, oh, no, thank you? Or will it be another moment that we are not privy to where Alina will be like, I'm good? Because like that moment and the red flags people are talking about has already happened, right? Like multiple times throughout this day alone. A man telling me like, no, if I had a bad feeling, just jump out the car just while it's moving. I'd be like, well, I wouldn't have gotten in the car. If a man was like, no, we're just going to like hitchhike there, I'd be like, no, we'll take a taxi. What are you talking about? We're going to hitchhike there. And if he was like, oh, it's cheaper, and then he did this, and then kind of, I'd be like, I would watch him get in the car, and he would get in the car. He'd be like, you coming? And I'd be like, oh, no. But what a favor this person's doing for me right now, taking you away. I mean, I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy to watch that person drive away in that hitchhiked car. Honey, I'd be like one of the bachelorettes, like letting someone go that I didn't like. I'd be like, great. Instead of a limo, I'd be like, ugh, that's fine. Hello, Sirilisio. Alina has a gentle, soft prettiness. Yeah, right? She does. She seems like someone who'd be really into cottagecore. And I would be into her Instagram account. All right, my loves. Twitter had fun with the watermelon. Oh, I should have looked. Allie, that makes me sad that I should have looked. Is there some funny tweets about that I would have enjoyed to put up here? Maybe. If I find some, or if you find some, go to Vanity Fair and post them, and we can talk about them. That's funny. That is one of the better parts about watching reality shows now, is like watching them and then going to Twitter and just being like, well, what are the funnier tweets from it? I do it a lot with Big Brother too. A lot of taxi drivers can scam you too big. Yeah. Taxi drivers can scam you like all over the place, right? Like if you don't, it's like a whole thing where you have to agree on the price before you get in. Right? And just be like, agree on the price. And yeah, like I have 40, he's like, how much is it to go somewhere? And they're like 40 or whatever. And you're like, well, I only have 40. So they can't be like 50. You'd be like, that's all I have is 40. You said 40. Use a credit card. I don't have a credit card. What's a credit card? No. I don't hate him, but he shouldn't foist himself into a relationship. I love you so much. Okay, so that is it, my baby boos. As I've said, what a life we've all led. But yeah, I thank you so much for being chill with me and not having not gone live last night. But I did get to really take in this episode and give you this long recap. And sometimes when I take pictures, here's the thing. So sometimes I get to have pictures if I go through watching it and take a picture from my own TV or Twitter. But since I'm watching it from Discovery Plus, if I watch it on my computer, I actually can't take any screenshots. They don't let you. So like me wanting to show you the amulet like didn't quite happen and stuff like that. Did I miss Evelyn? You did. You did, my boo. But it's perfect time. Good. So I'm happy that that happened, and plus I did get to watch Big Brother, which is coming to an end. So big deal. On the docket, Wednesday, Say What? Friday, following 1:30. So Say What is a pop culture streaming show I do on WA's channel, which is Just Call Me WA, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays. And then following is another pop culture show I do on my channel, just me. Sometimes I have guests. That's Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then back next Sunday for Toe. Honey, how are you doing? Checking in. I'm doing good. I felt like my energy has been all over the place. Speaking of hormones of all things, I feel like I've been really hormonal too. So it's not just Steven. I mean, I don't know what to do. I need watermelon and a jump in a pool. But new week, new month, new season. I think that there's going to be sun unsettling, and then we kind of get ourselves grounded, and we get into some of the warming, kind of like hibernating, comforting times that this time of year gives us, and I'm down for that. So yeah. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Chris L. Farah. The L is for Lebanese. And you can also Venmo me if you wanted to. As it says here, there is no L in my name there. I also appreciate any super chats you want to give me. I'm not WA in the sense that she's like, don't super chat me. It takes away 30%. I'm like, listen, I'll be honest. Do I like that it takes away 30%? No. But do I like money? Yes. Give me money any way you want. You don't have to. I much rather prefer your engagement here and you liking this video and subscribing. Well, I don't want to say I prefer as in one over the other. All of these are great. I appreciate any one of the energies and transfer connection energies that you would like to bequeath on me today. I accept it all, and I'm thankful for it all. Truly grateful. Your presence here is enough. And I really, really, I'll never probably get over the fact that, like, yeah, I'm just like going to go live and like 100 people are going to be in a room to listen to me talk about some stupid show the day after it aired. Thank you. That makes me feel really great. I'm gonna start crying. I won't cry. We've all cried enough watching Kenny and Armando. But so yeah, I definitely appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for, again, all of your time and energy here. I really wish you such a lovely, great week. And just invite you to lean into some of the more seasonal changes and understanding that sometimes such changes can kind of unsettle some things energetically in your life. I don't know how you feel about Mercury in retrograde. That's also happening. But, you know, all these words, all these terms, everything that's happening, that can be unsettling. And so you would just have to create the compassion and space for that, the understanding that that can happen, so that if it does happen, if you see symptoms in your life, you can sort of equate it to that and not make too much of a story about something being more so than it has to be. There are natural ebbs and flows of life that have, you know, triggers anywhere you can. I mean, environmental triggers, seasonal triggers, there's so many different things. So we are all on this journey together, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. That's incredibly generous and lovely. Oh, Sir Anthony, just coming around, honey, right as we're leaving. Oh, thank you so much for this super chat. Oh my goodness gracious. Both Robert, Rosidi, Licio, thank you so much. I mean, that is lovely, lovely. Did I just like sing for my supper and then made you all give me supper? Maybe. But no, both of you, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. To all my mods, always. Mickey, Lisa's isn't here, but you know, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I love my Ramsterdam, love my Lupe, love my Allie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Yana, Kit Kat. There's so many. Yes. Robert, you're the best. Sir Anthony, nice to see you. And CD, thank you for this. Okay, so I really have already been talking for almost an hour and a half. It's almost as long as the whole episode. I really can't do this to people. So listen on your own accord. I am excited to spend more time with you coming up. And other than that, you know, God bless. That's it. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. I appreciate you. Remember to like this video and comment after, just to be like, rewatched, replay gang, you do you. I'll take it all. All right, my loves. Yeah, I already said it, but I'll say it again. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. Make art.